أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Again, dear brothers and sisters, we begin by reminding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls our attention in the Quran and He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumu siyamu kama kutiba ala ladhina min qablikum la'alakum tattaqun. And Allah tells us in the Quran that fasting was prescribed for us the same way it was prescribed for those who came before us so that we may develop self-restraint. When we talk in terms of this transformative nature of fasting in the month of Ramadan, we have to go back and consider some of the benefits. We have to go back and consider some of the goals. As previous times that we were here, we talk about the goals of Ramadan. We talk about the benefits of Ramadan, and we talk about the levels of Ramadan. And so as a means to assist us in our transformative discussion about fasting in the month of Ramadan, how it transforms lives, how it transforms behaviors, how it transforms people, we have to go back to the very root of what helps this transformative nature. And that is to first understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us some goals in the month of Ramadan. These goals that He's given us in the month of Ramadan are goals that we can actually reach. The goals that He's given us in the month of Ramadan are goals that we as individuals can obtain. And obtaining these goals in the month of Ramadan are actually things that are not necessarily hard altogether. They're relatively easy because Allah lays it out for us. He lays out that fasting is prescribed so that we can develop self-restraint. He lays out that fasting during the month of Ramadan is a means for us to get near to Him, but at the same time, we should celebrate the praises on Him on behalf of the fact that He has guided us. And He says, la'alakum tashkurun, so that you may develop appreciation. And then lastly, He says, la'alahum yarshudun, so that perhaps maybe they will become those who walk in the right way with guidance, those who are on right guidance. So irshad, guidance, taqwa, which is God consciousness. And then the term that's being used, shukr, which is appreciation. These are three of the main ingredients to having a good Ramadan. Going in and allowing your nafs to fall in line with these three goals. So at a bare minimum, dear brothers and sisters, you should be right there within your own self. You should be right there in the month of Ramadan, focusing on getting your God consciousness up, focusing on your appreciation, focusing on your guidance by reading the Quran and in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and all of those other things that benefit your spiritual life. The world is out of balance, dear brothers and sisters. People are out of balance. They're either too spiritual or they're just too worldly. They're just all about the money. They don't care about nothing else. They don't care about family. They don't care about their spiritual life. They're making money as their religion. Some other people are not into money or religion. They're into sex. Some other people that are not into money or religion, they're just into gambling because of the rush it gives them. Some other people are into violence. They're into other things, not necessarily material. They might get some other gratifications from those things, and there's not enough money in the world can pay for that gratification. But Allah in the Quran tells us that we should respond to Allah and His Messenger when He calls us to that which gives us life, and know that Allah comes in between a man or woman in their hearts. So Allah comes in between that, no matter how much resources you might have, how much notoriety you might have, how much knowledge you might have. Allah in the Quran, He gives us an analogy of that. He says, وَلَوْ أَنزَلْنَا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ عَلَى الْجَبَلِ لَرَأَيْتَهُ خَشْيًا مُتَصَدِّيًا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ وَتِلْكَ أَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And He says that had we sent forth the Quran on a mountain, it would have crumbled out of humility and fear, and we send forth this parable to mankind so that they may be of those who reflect. Dear brothers and sisters, know that this analogy that Allah puts forward in the Quran is one that describes the fact that if the Quran can crumble the hardened mountains, then He can crumble the hardened hearts. May Allah help us to that we say Ameen. When we come back, dear brothers and sisters, we will continue our discussion on the transformative nature of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.